Let's proceed, and you tell me what to do, and if it makes sense, I'll do it. Hi, I'm miltonchang of Bonsaiheirloom, and I'm sitting next to my favorite bonsai, my 25-year-old trident maple that I started from a seedling. This actually is one of my favorite trees, and it's a favorite tree of many of you too. I showed that a couple of times, and I show it a little bit later again in a separate video. I'm really enjoying doing the Q&A because I learned from doing it, because in a sense, the best way to learn is by teaching it. And so I really enjoy answering your questions, because to answer your question, I have to do a little research sometimes to be more serious, to be right. So I encourage you to send me more questions. And I also like it to be an exchange, that you tell me what I said wrong, or how I can improve the way I said it, or additional information you can provide, because I want to create a community of bonsai enthusiasts so that we can share information and we can all promote bonsai, because it's a great hobby. Also, from now on, the Q&A will be Q&A, announcements, and commentary. And I feel like I know many of you know me now. We have 100,000 subscribers, but probably 5,000 really close associates now that we feel we know each other, that I feel like I can comment on current issues that either pleases me or bugs me, and for us to have a dialogue, have a better understanding of each other. I try not to go out of hand, to go too far from the subject of what we're doing here. So the first announcement I'll make this year is that we now closed the raffle for the giveaway for celebrating the 100,000 subscribers. And my staff would mail out the announcement before the January 31st. So please be patient. We do have 10 winners, and you'll be pleased with the trees you get. And talking about that, the trees that we will send out are basically our first year production tree, mostly elms. And our elms is quite desirable. Most of them will turn red. It's a very good cultivar selection seedling. And quite a number of people asked me about the availability of the trees for sale. So let me give you a little summary of where I stand, or where we stand. Basically, we'll start shipping. We'll take pre-order probably like in middle of the year, and then ship them out the third quarter of 2024. And these will be our production trees. They've been in the ground for a few years, and then they are put into bonsai pots and established inside the bonsai pots. So they'll be quite nice. And those trees will be comparable price to what you see now. You can order online. So they're not outrageous. Then we are going to compete on quality of the tree and the sense of the technical aspect of what we do. Then as the tree gets older, the price of the trees will go up. And the reason why I'm talking about price is there's an audience that wrote and said, I worry about you selling prices only to the high price, people who can afford high prices. No, we are going to have both really quality trees, collector trees for quality of high prices, as well as some medium size and popular prices. And then so as the tree gets older, they will be more expensive, same as the other bonsai growers. And then lastly, I have a lot of trees. I'll probably say about 100 trees that I collected over the years, and I grew them like this one for 25 years. I have never made $1 off my tree. I never sold a tree. When my friends wanted the tree, I gave it to them. And to me, just isn't right to sell something that you make or you created. On the other hand, now that I'm in business, I have to think about marketing and sales. So what I will do is the following. These trees will go on an auction occasionally. Like maybe someday we'll have an auction once every several months, and you can bid on it, or we can or for that matter, if you see a tree you really like, you can send me a price, outrageously high price, and I can refuse it. And what I will do is that instead of taking money, which I don't feel good about doing, selling my own trees to my children, I will donate the proceeds for charitable purposes. I think we all benefit from it. Initially, it would be to bonsai clubs and for bonsai causes, but later on can be humanitarian causes. So let's proceed, and you tell me what to do, and if it makes sense, I'll do it. So the first set of three questions about where do I get equipment, bonsai, and equipment. Well, basically, pots, either the good pots are made either in Japan or in China. And of course, the artisan pots here can be very beautiful. That means like in ceramic workshops and so forth. So the most famous bonsai pots are made in Yixing, which is a village outside of Shanghai. It's about an hour drive from Shanghai. And it's been making bonsai and making little clay figurines and teapots for hundreds of years, very famous. And those trees are very good. Of course, all trees, all pots come in different grades, so you have to be selective. And you can only learn that over time what's a good one. As I told you, you can make it ring like a bell for the good quality ones. And then the Japanese pots typically are expensive because they value craftsmanship, whereas China just cranked them out. And I would say the expensive craftsmanship, crafted bonsai pots from Japan are really nice, but could be quite expensive and are collector's items. So for example, this is a historic, in a sense, I tell you why it's historic, a Japanese pot that was actually a gift from John Naka to Ernie Ko, and Ernie Ko gave it to me, and I planted roses here because I promised my wife a rose garden. Her name is Rosalind. But this pot is so big that was actually a gift to John Naka by someone in Japan. And he actually sat in it to take a photo as a kind of a clowning. So is a small guy, like about a little bit over 5 foot tall. He actually sat in this pot. So I think this is a valuable historic pot. And so this pot is a Chinese pot from Yixing. And when I bought this about 20 years ago, I went to the kiln, asked the manager, the owner, to give me good clay. So I think that's what he did. If you really look at this pot closely, this is really beautiful. You see, that's stuff that's inlaid in it that gives it a really nice texture. So Yixing is the center of pot in Japan, in China. They have been making bonsai pots for hundreds of years, and they're also noted for their teapots, really dainty teapots. A little teapot can cost tens of thousands of dollars if it's done right. And so that's Yixing. And this is a bonsai heirloom pot. You can see it's got a logo on it. That's ordered from Yixing. You can hear the ringing because the clay is very good, so that it's very hard. And here's another little pot that I picked up about 20 years ago from Yixing. You can see nice little features. I should clean it up, but you can see it's a very nice pot. So Yixing is known for both small and big pots, and you can now order them online. Then the second question is, where do I get, where's the auctions? Well, usually Bonsai Club conduct auctions, not a serious auction, but like a silent auction or something, but have regular sales and Bonsai Club meetings. So you can get good material, good bonsai pots and good trees from there. And the one that I go to once a year really is at Lake Merritt in Oakland, California. That's the Lake Merritt Museum, Bonsai Museum, which has excellent collection, mostly from donations. They are really beautiful, very old trees, very well maintained. That's a really good place for you to visit. And it has an annual auction about January, February, called the Mammoth Auction, there's typically over 100 trees bonsai finished, not finished. A bonsai should never be finished in a sense of a sufficient quality bonsai for auction so you can get them out of there. Some of my old trees are gotten from there. Then there's a question about where do I get my sandy loam? You know, in America, almost everything has a standard if you really look for it. So sandy loam is an agricultural standard that the soil mix got compost, got sand, and getting loam. So that's a very good material, and basically it retains water very well, and yet it drains water. So if you go to a nursery landscaping supply house, they should know what sandy loam is, and there's a standard for that. On the other hand, if you don't have that, I would say you can dig it out of your topsoil in your garden that you have been cultivating your vegetable. They should be very good for that purpose. And for the landscaping places, they typically sell things by the bulk, like in the cubic yards. But they also usually sell you bags of material, so you can order, you can buy small quantities that you need. So, but again, I won't freak out about the word sandy loam, but try to get topsoil as a substitute. The next set of questions is about potting. I'm not sure what the person meant by Aaron mean by grounding my trees. Aaron probably means why do I plant trees in pots? And so like oftentimes you see I put it back in a growing pot because I wanted to grow a little bit thicker. Some of the branches get a little thicker before I put them in bonsai pot. For bonsai pot, it's really more for the last stage for me to fine tuning the leaves and the branches. And yeah, that's why and there was the question about what is my, like a metal line, a copper line around the bonsai. Well, that's my actually drip line, happen to be brown. Actually, I'm getting rid of my drip lines because they tend to clog over time. My place here, the water is very good. It's from the Yosemite streams or river, and it's very low, it's not a hard water, it's a soft water, but still they clog sometimes due to the sand and stuff that's in the water. So I think I'm gonna use the low drip heads, the spray heads. This is about the 3 maples from a while ago, which in fact I'll do today. Oh, I guess why don't I put in a back bonsai pot? Well, even today I'll still put it in a nursery pot to let the trunks get a little thicker. Not so much the main trunk, but it's the branch trunk. I gotten 20 seedlings from a friend. I understand they grow pretty fast. Should I grow them in oversized pot, container, or put them in the ground? Beautiful trees. Thank you for your compliment. Yes, this is how fast a trident maple grow in 25 years. But I do prefer to grow them in pots. They're a little bit faster. And but whether you grow in a pot or grow in the ground depends a little bit on your objective. Like if I want to have a trunk of this size, then I better put it in the ground. And I would dig it up maybe 10 years from now or 20 years from now. Whereas if I want to make a decent sized bonsai in a pot in 5 to 10 years, then I'll put it in a growing pot so that I can give it a little bit more attention so that it come out right. And besides, when you dig it up from the ground, you do set back the trees quite a bit. So it grow faster, but you set it back, whereas you can grow pretty fast if you put fertilizer around the edges so you don't kill the tree by over-fertilizing a little bit. And can I still collect seeds from trees in December? And I'm talking about various named varieties of Japanese maple. Well, first of all, named varieties of Japanese maple are really selected for their special characteristic. They may be selecting one out of 10,000 trees. So for example, the Emperor one is really a beautiful, beautiful red maple. That's far superior than the blood good, which is everywhere in the U.S. for a very long time. So I suspect if you take the seeds from a Emperor One, the seedling should be pretty nice. And I believe it turns out the Emperor One is a seedling from blood good. That's what I read someplace. So with that in mind, I recommend that you actually take cuttings because you can't count on the seeds to come true to be as good as the mother or the mother tree. So with that in mind, then, to answer to your question directly is yes, you can collect seeds from the tree. In fact, later the better before they get blown away, so long as they are still viable by pushing on it, it's supple or hard. And then the second part is like, if you want a tree to come true, I would recommend that you do by cutting. With that in mind, then, that's for this segment of the Q&A. And if you find it informative, give me some encouragement. I appreciate it. And click our channel so that we'll notify you of any new video so you don't miss any goodies. With that in mind, then, I thank you for your listening and my rambling, for that matter. And tune in next week. See you next week. Thank you.